Virtual fencing technology has come a long way in the last few years, and the conversation has shifted from, is this technology viable, does it work, to how does this technology work, how can I apply it to my operation to make it more productive, more profitable and more sustainable. So in this video I'm going to try and answer some of those questions. How does it work? How can you apply it to your operation and get the benefits of this new technology? At the heart of these systems, there is a device that goes on the animal. We call ours a neckband. This neckband here, you can see there are a few chains and a top strap here that has a buckle that allows you to put this around the animal's neck quite easily. You snap it together. You can adjust these chains in this buckle here to make it fit for the animal that you've got, and then each animal has one of these on around their neck. So this neckband has two solar panels, one on each side, and these solar panels keep a rechargeable battery charged up all year round. So you never need to take this device off your animal to charge up a battery. If you are operating during winter and there are extended periods where it's clouded over and there's very little sunlight, then the battery that's inside this device will continue operating the neckband for around about a week before it will run out of battery power. However, that typically coincides with a very dark winter period where there's very little grazing to do, and people tend to take their neckbands off over that period and have their animals in stables. The next feature of these devices is that they have a GPS on board, similar to your mobile phone that you can use for navigation. So these devices have a GPS which allows them to determine their location on your property. So at any one time, we know exactly where this device is located in relation to a virtual fence that we may have drawn, and I'll explain this a little bit later. So we do need to be able to communicate with each one of these neckbands to be able to send instructions for a new virtual fence, or to receive a message from the device to say, hey, I'm located over here and this is what I'm doing and this is what the animal is doing. So this back and forth communication is done in a few different ways, and we have some different models that allow us to connect to the internet in a couple of different ways. So let's go over those. One of the methods is to use a communication protocol called LoRa. It's a long-range, low-power communication protocol that communicates via a base station that is located on your property. So with that communication technology, as I said, the base station is located somewhere on your farm. Neckbands can then receive messages from that base station and send a response back to say, hey, I'm over here, this is my location, and this is what I'm doing. The base station itself will connect to the internet via the cellular networks, or we can also use a Starlink terminal. The second communication method that we have is where the neckband connects itself directly to the cellular network. So that eliminates the need for a base station altogether. All of the devices on the market at the moment have a very similar approach to containing animals within virtual fencing boundaries. So firstly, there is an audio tone that is generated. So the neckband will beep at the animal when it approaches a virtual fence boundary. And that is the initial warning to tell the animal, hey, you've arrived at that boundary, you need to take some action to avoid getting a pulse. So the secondary stimulus that is delivered is a mild electrical pulse, similar to an electric fence, but at a much lower energy. And this pulse is delivered between the chains. It is an unpleasant sensation, but it is completely harmless to the animal. And that is enough to deter the animal from moving in the same direction. And animals they are very quick learners, and they learn that when they hear the audio tone, they need to move away from that line to avoid getting the pulse. So in a very short period of time, animals are only responding to the audio tone and they're avoiding getting a pulse altogether. Finally, of course, we need a platform that allows us to define our virtual fences and set those virtual fences. So to do that, we've got a web application that you can use on your laptop, on your computer. You simply open up your browser and you log into the eShepherd platform. And that allows you then to define all your virtual fence boundaries and send them to the neckband. But you can also use your mobile phone, so there's an application there that allows you to also turn on and off virtual paddocks. So now that we've gone over the basic elements of the system, let's go over how you can apply it on your property to improve your grazing plan and improve your productivity, profitability, and sustainability. The benefits of rotational grazing are well understood now, and people that have been using them understand that it results in much healthier and more productive pastures. Virtual fencing takes rotational grazing to the next level, where you can really start intensifying those rotations and feed allocations. So now I'm going to show you on the eShepherd web app how you can manage your rotations and your pasture allocations for your animals. So this is the eShepherd web application where you can draw your virtual fences. That's some of these orange lines, and you can see your animals. That's these blue dots here and some green dots here. So this is a demo property, so I'm just going to demonstrate how you might break up this larger physical paddock defined by these white lines into smaller segments. So I'm going to show you how you can allocate fresh pasture to your animals from your computer or your mobile phone. So we've already got a few virtual paddocks predefined here, so they're contained within this virtual paddock here. That's the solid orange line, and we are now going to allocate some fresh grass to them by opening up this grazing area and moving to this highlighted area here. So we're just going to increase the area that they have access to within this much larger physical paddock. And the process to do that is as simple as going to your mob menu, selecting your mob of heifers. That's these blue heifers here. You can manage as many mobs as you want, of course, and you go and turn on the next virtual paddock. So I want to turn that one on right now rather than scheduling it, and I can select the virtual paddock from this menu here. So there's a few of them defined in a sequence where we continue extending our grazing area, and we are in this case allowing animals to come back to the watering point, which is at the bottom of the paddock here. So I'm going to turn on the next virtual paddock, which is Davies 02. I select it and I say turn on that virtual paddock, and now the system takes care of everything, where it will start to send messages to these neckbands that they now have access to a larger area. This can take a little while until all of the neckbands have received that message, and then animals can start grazing in this area. So I hope that gives you a little bit more of an introduction to virtual fencing and an understanding of how it works and how you could apply it to your operation. So if you want to find out anything more about it, if you want to speak to one of us, then jump on the Gallagher Animal Management website, and under the product section you can find our virtual fencing product, and that's where you can make an inquiry, and we'll get back to you very quickly to discuss what you might like to do with virtual fencing on your place. So great to have you guys with us today, and keep an eye on this channel for more content. See ya.